What should someone who just got laid off or furloughed, what should their first move be?
So I think number one is, this is what I did. I'll share my experience because we went through this. Looking at all of your necessary expenses, or looking at all of your expenses, period. And I mean like your actual spending. So like pulling out all of the statements and the bank statements, the credit card statements, all of them from the last 3 months, 6 months, going through them line by line and literally separating out what you need versus what you don't need, just to give yourself a sense of how much it costs to live your necessary lifestyle. Like, how much does it cost to put food on the table each month? How much does it cost for you to pay your housing cost each month? How much does your insurance premiums cost each month? And then like you get a number to tell you like, okay, this is like the benchmark for the viability of my life on a monthly basis. Is this something that I can cover with what I have in savings? If so, how many months worth? And then also you can go through that list and see what you can do to reduce, to negotiate, to defer if you need to, calling up the landlord if they're not going to negotiate. Like, my landlord was not reducing my rent, but they are waiving their late fees. Not that I want to pay 3 months rent, in 3 months, but like trying to figure out where there's flexibility so that you have time to do step 2, which is kind of identifying your resources. So do you qualify for unemployment? Can you qualify for PPP? Can you qualify for any aid of any kind? Like, this is really important to understand, is that like what's available at a federal level might be different. What's available at a state level might be different depending on what state you're in.
Right.
And the same is true on a city level. So your local government has different resources from the other local government, and then the local programs, the state programs, and federal programs are like kind of this layered cake that you need to put together for yourself based on your circumstances and where you're living. So like don't just like listen to me here in New York. Like, figure out what's available in my state, what's available in my city, what's available in my town. And then like also beyond the government resources, like there's a lot of private companies doing a lot of initiatives. There are food banks. There are, it's a lot of work, but one of the things that we're realizing in this trade-off of less money is more time for a lot of us. Not necessarily true if now you're just caring for someone full-time or anything else, but like use whatever resource you do now have, which for a lot of people is now time as opposed to money, to try to figure out how you can leverage it to make your lifestyle work. So like, figuring out the expenses, figuring out the resources to bring in some income, and like really sitting down and doing some calculations. Like, this is how much I have in my emergency fund. This is how much it costs us to live each month. Like, how many months will that last, assuming zero income? Okay, how about assuming that we get unemployment for the next 4 months? Okay, well, if that runs out, like, what are the hard decisions we might need to make? And like, we might not make those decisions today, but it's good for us to kind of think through what the options are now when we still have a little bit of time to think about those choices.
What's the unemployment right now here in New York?
So the max is 50 something. It's over $500 a week, and then you also get an extra $600
per month,
per week. Yes,
you get $1,100 a week.
You get $1,100 a week pre-tax, provided you qualify for the full benefit. So it's a reasonable amount of money. Like, it is there's majority of people collecting unemployment, I think I saw this headline, are making more off of unemployment than they are from their jobs.
Which, by the way, the hot take about that is going to be that there's too much unemployment. The actual hot take is that way too many people are severely underpaid.
That is exactly right.
That's what that is.
Especially if you consider the fact that so many of these people are now also subsidizing their own health care. Like,
oh my God.
That's an enormous burden as well.